Hello my dear students, how are you? I think you are so well by the grace of Allah. Today I am here English teacher Muhammad Salihuddin, senior teacher of Dhaka Shikhabul School and College, to take a class about English second paper of class 9 and 10. My dear students, today our topic is about English grammar, and I would like to discuss about right form of verbs. My dear students, you know that our online exam is going on, and from the next week our English exam of class 9 and 10 will be held, and English grammar right form of verbs is a topic that would be set in the exam. So I would like to discuss about right form verbs today. You know well that in my last class I also discussed about right form verbs. I took a class about right form verbs. Today I also like to take a class about right form verbs. You know well that it is question number 4 in the second paper, question number 4, and the part A grammar. And the name of the topic is right form of verbs. There are 10 gaps here, and marks 5, half into 10 is equal to 5, total marks 5. There are 10 gaps to see in this way: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, 10 gaps. My students, you know that they will be given a box, and there also will be given a passage, and in the passage there are 10 gaps. You have to choose the right form of verbs from the box according to tense, sentence and structure. Then you have to fill the passage using the correct form of verbs and also the sentence, structure and also tense. So my dear students, you know well that if you see B in the box, it is be verb, and for B you have to use am, is, are, was, were. According to tense, if you see that the passage is in present tense, then according to subject and person, you have to choose am or is or are. If the passage is in past tense, then you have to use was or were according to the necessity of subject and person. So my dear students, have, it is called have verb, and if you see have in the box, you have to choose have, has, had. If you need the form of present tense, then you can choose have or has according to subject and person. And if the sentence is in past tense, then you have to choose had. If the sentence continues, the students, you know that there are 3 continuous tenses: present continuous, past continuous and also future continuous. And if you like to make a sentence using continuous, we are learning English. You see that here be verb and also learning. So we can say that present continuous. If it is present continuous, then we are learning English subject, be verb and also V1 ing. If it is past continuous, we are learning English, and it is future continuous, then we shall be or will be learning English. So, my dear students, you know that to is a preposition, and after to we have to use V1. Actually, we want to discuss about the matter. You see that here to is a preposition, and after this preposition we have used discuss, and discuss is V1 or present form. So, you have to know that after to we have to use the main form or base form of verb. My dear students, here also you know that first condition is also a topic of grammar. First condition, or it is called also present condition. If you learn well, if you learn well, you will succeed. If you learn well, you will succeed. Here you see, if you learn V1 present, if the first clause is present or in first condition, then the second clause will be in future indefinite. So, my dear students, you see that in the first condition you have to use the second condition into future indefinite or also present indefinite. My dear students, when you will see a complex sentence such as since it was costly, I could not buy it. Since it was costly is a subordinate clause, I couldn't buy it is a principal clause. Actually, here I like to say that in complex sentence, if one clause is past tense, then the other clause would be in the past form. So, these are the rules, my dear students. Now, we will practice. Now, we will practice a passage here in this way. They will be given a box. This is a box, my dear students. This is a box, and in the box you will have 8 or 10 or less than 8 verbs. Here the question is complete the following text, I think the passage with right form of verbs. There are verbs and you have to choose the right form of these verbs in the gap of the passage. So, complete the following text with the right forms of verbs given in the box. Here, come, drown, begin, be, cross, have, ask, say, tremble and swim. These are the verbs, and I think these are all the V1 or base form of verbs. You have to choose the correct form of these verbs in the passage. For doing better, my dear students, you have to read the passage very carefully from beginning to last. One day, a scholar gave a river with a boat. Suddenly, a ghastly wind dashed to blow. The scholar dashed with fear. The boatman dashed him. If he knew how to give the answer from the scholar dash negative, then the boatman gave. Very soon you are going to give. You gave a lot of knowledge, but gap to use at this moment. This is the passage, and very beginning I would like to tell you that you have to realize the meaning of the passage. If you can, then it will be better for writing the answer correctly. So, my students, I have discussed about some rules very beginning of my lecture today. So, one day a scholar gave a river. So, it is in the past tense. If we like to write in the past tense, then was crossing the correct answer for A. One day a scholar was crossing a river with a boat. Suddenly a ghastly wind here began, and we have written the answer is in the past tense. That's why we have to use here V2 or past form, actually began. Wind began to blow. The scholar dashed with fear, was trembling here. You can see tremble, and in the continuous form trembling. So, the scholar was trembling with fear. The boatman here asked. So, the boatman asked him if he knew how to. Here I have discussed after to we have to use V1, how to swim. V1. We haven't changed the form of this verb because V1 actually swim. How to swim. The answer from the scholar gave negative here, B and past tense. So, we have to use the past form was negative. Then the boatman here, you see, say, we have to use the past form said. The boatman said, very soon you are going to. My students, you have to know that within the inverted comma, we have to use the direct speech. So, the tenses would be in present form. So, here these are inverted comma. Very soon you are going to. Here after to we have to use V1, drown. We are going to drown. You have a lot of knowledge, but here this is a conditional sentence. So, we have to use you have a lot of knowledge, but gap to use at this moment, but will not come. Actually here come. So, we have used the future form, the indefinite form of this verb actually will not come. My dear students, these are the ways of writing right tomorrow verbs in the exam. I think, my dear boys and girls, if you practice in this way, maintaining the rules of right tomorrow verbs, I think you will do better in the exam. You know well that from the next week our online exam is going on, and right tomorrow verbs is a topic that will be set in the exam, and 5 marks or 10 marks will be set from this item. And if you practice in this way, staying as to residence, I think you will do better in the exam. My dear students, thank you very much.